I did not realize I was so close to the Oregon border, and I am actually in Oregon right now. I can't head up here to get some gas, and right away the gas price went down by $1 a gallon, so that helps. So I got all filled up, and then I saw this little Mexican food truck, and I thought I'd get some lunch, and got this delicious cucumber lime fresco. It's delicious. Seems like they make everything fresh in there. And then I got myself a vegetarian, although I'm not a vegetarian, but I prefer vegetarian burritos. I got a burrito, and then I asked for pico de gallo, and I saw her actually make it fresh. And the tomatoes and everything looked really fresh. Get it out of here. So some really delicious looking pico de gallo. Yum, yum. I asked her to put avocado on my burrito, so I'm going to dig in and have my lunch. This has to be one of the most delicious burritos I've had in a really long time. Well, good morning. It's the first morning at my camping spot here at the county fairgrounds. I am in Tule Lake, California, and it was nice and quiet last night. Very peaceful. Not very many campers here right now. I was really grateful to have full hookups yesterday because it did get pretty hot. It's going to be hot all this week in the 90s. Low 90s, thankfully. And so it was so nice to be able to have my great AC working yesterday and stay cool enough. So I'm not going to probably do a whole lot this week because it's going to be so hot. I'm getting a bit tired too, and so I just kind of want to rest and relax, and I've got to do some extra work because I'm covering for somebody at my job. So got my Starlink going and hooked up to the pedestal outside, which was nice. And just going to take it easy for the next few days.
It is right to establish a good understanding at the beginning. I approached, and attempting to take his chubby fist, said, "How do you do, my dear?" He replied in a jar.
I made another necklace yesterday while I was inside. I think it turned out nice. I like it. It's nice and long at 22 inches. But yeah, I love these beads. They're so pretty. I love when I have full hookups, you know, simply for the fact that it feels like I'm at home. I can use as much water as I want to. I don't have to worry about the tanks filling up. I have full electricity, so easy to charge things. So it's definitely got its advantages to be on full hookups. I would say that each camping experience I've done on this trip, because the first one was dispersed camping for 4 nights, and then I did a national park campground with no hookups, and then now this fairgrounds with full hookups. And each one has its advantages and disadvantages for sure. But I kind of like mixing it up, you know, because I don't know how people do it full time, do dispersed camping full time. It's a lot of work. It's peaceful, it's quiet, it's beautiful, and that's the advantage of it. And you have tons of privacy, and it's wonderful. But it's a lot more work, at least for me, setting up those solar panels and having to think mentally a lot more about, your consumption and everything. So to me, there's pros and cons, and I can't say that I like one any better than the other. I have to say that I kind of like the idea of doing what I did on this trip, which is kind of a mixture of all three, I mean, right now, it's like I'm able to use, because I have hookups, I'm able to use my induction stove, which I prefer using over propane. I don't think inhaling propane fumes is great for my asthma, and it also seems to give me headaches. And so it's advantageous for me when I'm on hookups, I can use my induction stove. So, but there's a real lack of privacy here. So it's kind of that trade-off where you feel like you're being watched, especially as a solo female. I feel like people watch me out of curiosity. Maybe that's just me and my own projection, but I think they're a little bit incredulous, and so they watch, so you feel a little bit more on display. Whereas when I was dispersed camping, I didn't have to worry about any of that, right? By the same token, when I was dispersed camping and there was a car went by or so, I thought, I'm out here alone as a solo female camper, and they know I'm out here, and it's a little scary, a little less feeling of safety. So there's pros and cons to them all, and I don't think I could do, if I was to be a full-timer, I don't think I could do all of one way of camping. I'd want to mix it up for sure. Definitely take breaks and get campgrounds that have hookups. That's the way I would do it. So, there you go. I like to reuse my plastic bags when I can, so rinse them out. My green Debbie Meyer's bag that helps keep produce a little longer. And I love my little wipe. It's all good in the camper hood. This morning, a goldfinch was fluttering right there, looking at its reflection. Actually, it was over here looking at its reflection. And it was so cool. It just was there a couple seconds. But it's been cool on this trip because I've had hummingbirds when I was dispersed camping show up there looking at the reflection 2 or 3 times. And then just this morning, a goldfinch who was just beautiful with that yellow gold chest. Just beautiful. So here's my induction stovetop, which I prefer using. But I've been frustrated with this stainless steel pan because everything is sticking to it and it's hard to get it clean no matter how much I scrub. But what's most frustrating is that everything sticks to it. And then I do have a nonstick pan here that I just washed. And it must have lost, I didn't realize that these nonstick pans can lose their stickiness, but lose their non-stickiness, but this one has, so I have to replace this. So when I get a chance, I'm going to go to a Home Goods or a Ross or a Marshall's and see if I can find some good non-stick pans, like maybe an 8-inch and a 10-inch pan. I think would be perfect to have. Because it's just been kind of frustrating to deal with all the food that's sticking. So one thing I do a lot of is I have a grain mixture I make with rice and quinoa, and it sticks a lot because it dries out. And even though I put a lot of oil in there, it still sticks. Sometimes water can help, but not really. So I want to get a good nonstick because I use a lot of grains. I tried out a new recipe yesterday that was actually really tasty, but again, it was a little frustrating because it was sticking. But it was easy to do, and it was pretty delicious. It was 1 egg and 2 ounces of cottage cheese and 4 ounces of grains. You know, like I said, my grain is a mixture of 50-50 between rice and quinoa, but you can probably use whatever grains you want. Salt, pepper, and maybe some herbs or green onions or chives or whatever you have on hand. And then blend it all together, and you can either bake it in the oven for about 15 minutes till it's cooked, or you can fry it up in a pan. And it was really easy and delicious. So that's going to be a go-to recipe for me. I walked over to the fairgrounds office, and they have a little museum here. And I'm loving all these little teaspoons display that they have. So cute. That's pretty amazing. They have the arrow that belonged to Captain Jack, and it's made in 2 pieces. The rear portion of the shaft is a hollow reed, and the forward end is willow. It's in a glass case, so I'm sorry for the reflection.
Okay, sorry.
That's amazing. It's actually a really big museum. A lot of history here. Oh my God, I remember those simplicity patterns. Oh gosh, look at these old irons. How cool. Baskets of buttons. This is an unexpectedly great museum. So this sign is talking about how the Klamath tribes include 3 different tribes: the Modocs, who lived in the Tule Lake Lost River area, along with their neighbors to the north, the Klamaths, and their neighbors to the east, the Yahuskin. Overall, they are a unique nation of people, even among native peoples of this continent. The Klamath tribe's history is dated in the archaeologic record to have begun as many as 14,000 years ago in the Klamath Basin. Wow. Building a rope out of cattails. That is amazing. It's like they had their own arts and crafts methods to just make things out of natural materials from the wild. Pretty cool. These are original barracks. This is one half of a barracks from the Tule Lake internment camp where they interned the Japanese. This building was moved from the camp to a homestead in 1947 that eventually became part of Hall Farms. And the Halls donated it. Here was the internment camp buildings, which I hope to go visit tomorrow. I'm shooting through glass, so it's kind of hard to see, but this is an example of the living quarters of an interned family of 4. On these hot afternoons, I've been making some jewelry. So there's the one I made for my friend. I'm going to give to her birthday. And I made this one. I think I showed that to you already. Iridescent beads. I think I'm going to keep that for myself. I've always wanted a garnet necklace, so I made a garnet necklace. And then a blue necklace that I'm still working on. Just a simple design. But yeah, so fun to get back to jewelry making. It's been a few years and I'm really enjoying it. It's fun. Well, as you can see, I'm packing up, getting ready to go. It's Friday, and I'm only about, 6-7 hours away from home, but, 6-7 hours in a car for me in an RV is more like 9-10 hours, because I go slower, I make stops, I stretch, so it definitely elongates the trip. And a lot of people could probably drive that in one day, no problem, but my body will not allow me to drive that much in one day, not anymore. I used to drive all the time between San Francisco and LA, back and forth, no problem. Not in one day, but I mean, it was like 8-9 hours and no problem, but my body can't handle it now. My hips, my bottom, it just can't handle it. And actually, in actuality, I'm a bit worried about my body right now because for the past 3 days, I was covering for a coworker, and I got much more work than I usually have to do. And so I was sitting a long time at this dinette, working, and it's so ergonomically off because I'm doing this, and so then my neck starts to hurt, that I don't have enough curve or back support, and then this hard bench, sitting on it. I just was in so much pain last night. Everything hurt, and I'm still hurting this morning, but it's not as bad. And I have to drive today, kind of a long distance, like 2.5 hours, but it'll probably, again, be more like 3.5 to 4 hours. So I don't know how I'm going to get through it, actually, because I had to work so much. Yesterday I worked 8 hours. I typically work, maybe a couple hours a day, at the most 3 hours. So to have to work an 8-hour day yesterday was not good timing. I hadn't really planned for that, or thought about that, unfortunately. So I'm just going to have to thankfully I have my acetaminophen with me, and I'll take that, and hopefully it will take some of the edge off. But it's amazing to me. I'll take 1,000 milligrams of acetaminophen, and it only reduces my pain maybe by 30-40%. It's just so bad. And my AC works like a champ this week. Just kept me nice and cool. Usually the nights got down to the 50s, so it was really pleasant at night here, whereas in Redding it would not have been. So I'm glad I made the call to come here. It was a little further north for me to go, but it definitely was worth it to come over here so I could work those extra hours and be comfortable with the AC and everything. But yeah, and I have to get home by a certain time because I've got some jobs lined up, so as much as I would have liked to have stretched, like maybe go stay somewhere closer to home for 2 or 3 nights and then continue on, that just didn't work out because I've got to get back by Sunday. But yeah, anyways, it's been an interesting trip. It feels like I've been gone a lot longer than 2 weeks. I feel like I've been gone a month. I feel like I've been gone for so long. It's so funny. I guess because lately I haven't done any longer trips in a while. The last long trip I did was last late summer on my national park trip. Other than that, I've just been doing 3-night trips. So that's probably why this feels so long. But it's been great, and but I'm also looking forward to getting home. I'm probably not going to be able to camp for a while because I have a lot of dog and house sit jobs lined up this summer. In fact, next week I've got one lined up and then another one lined up back to back, and so I'll be gone from home for 3 weeks. So I'm just paying rent at home, but I'm gone all the time. Crazy. And it's always interesting because I look forward. It's great when I get back home and I have all my familiar things around me and my full kitchen and full bathroom and my nice bed and all my comforts and stuff. And then after, I don't know, a month or two, I'm like really ready to get back out on the road and do a camping trip. So it's an interesting thing. It's like you do one thing for a while and I'm like, okay, I'm now ready to go camping. You do camping for a while. Okay, now I'm getting ready to get back to my home base. I couldn't do one or the other full time. I feel like I'm in somewhat of an enviable position in that I get to have both. It's a lot financially, especially right now with the gas costs. I tried not to drive very much once I arrived here to try to save on gas, but it was a lot. So, yeah, to pay rent at home and have to pay, camping fees and gas and all that can be a bit hard for me. So that's why I'm not going to be able to camp as often as I used to. It's just hard. So I'm probably not going to be able to camp much this summer, but perhaps I'll share with you some of my house sit jobs and show you some of the beautiful homes I'm going to be staying in. It's like luxury homes, not, it's like being on vacation. One of the homes I'm going to do is actually the celebrity. She's a widow. She was the wife of a celebrity who passed away. And she was such a down-to-earth, nice lady. I was a little worried when I, met with her that she might be hoity-toity because she was from New York and stuff. Not that New Yorkers are, hoity-toity, but New Yorkers can be, get direct, let's just put it that way. But she was super nice and super down-to-earth, and her dog was adorable, so I'm really looking forward to that sit. Next week, I'm doing one that I've done before where I get to take care of chickens and birds, and they have horses and goats, and it's beautiful on a hilltop. And then I'm doing a coastal one, and so it's just going to be fun to do all these different sits, and it's pretty cool to get paid to do something that's fun. It's the hard part is all the packing up and unloading and loading and unloading and all that stuff, but most of these sits are at least a week, if not longer, so that helps a lot with that. Okay, well, I better get ready. I want to get hitting the road so I can visit. Perhaps I want to stop at the Japanese internment camp if that's open. I'm not sure if it's open. And I still need to make some breakfast, so all right, catch you later.